Hello and welcome to Sins of a Solar Empire 2. I'm Shadow Coast and welcome to the channel. In this video we are talking about the TEC faction and how to gain dominance through trade. So up here we have our trade tab. Now as we build our empire we will be able to expand our exports in goods, metal, and crystal. You can see here through research and building trade ports as well as other structures we will be able to augment our income in this various ways. So here, based off goods exports, I'm making an extra 47.5 per second, which is fantastic. Now, the great thing about this is we can quickly reallocate with diminishing returns or augmenting exponential benefits as we shift resources based off what we need. So I'm at a metal deficit. You can see here I just quickly increase my income rate. So how do we do this playing as TEC? Why do we want to do this? And how do we use trade as an offensive weapon? Well, let's jump right into it. To begin, when you first start off in Tier 1, once you build your first civilian research station, you can click this, unlock Civilian 1, and then you can unlock Orbital Commerce, which unlocks the ability to build a trade port. Now, trade ports very early game will be a little more expensive than maybe building more metal extractors when you hit Tier 2, but eventually you're going to want to decommission most, if not all, your metal and crystal extractors mid to late game and replace those with maxing out trade ports. Now, depending on the system you have, you will have a limited number of trade ports you can build. So here you can see this is a pretty developed system. I can build up to, I believe, 5 trade ports in this one. But then if we look at something else, say like an asteroid, we might only be able to build 1. So as we build these will allow us to increase our trade capacity. But there are a few other things we need to do to be able to augment how many boxes we have here. Because when you first start, you're going to have only a few boxes to allocate. So as we build trade ports, those will give us the ability to kind of fill in these boxes as we go or provide trade points. But there are also some other structures we're going to need to research and build, such as the alloy foundry, which increases our trade capacity for metal. So as we look at this research tree, I like this view because you can see all the research associated with trade kind of in here more or less. So in Tier 2, you can unlock alloy foundries, and this will allow us to increase our trade capacity with metal. So effectively, it's going to add these boxes here we can fill in for metal for each of these structures that we have. We also can unlock planetary items such as synthetic crystal farm, which increases our trade capacity for crystals, doing the same thing for crystals. Here we can add other things down here which will be very important. So trade ship sensors will now be able to report on information. And then over here, once we get into level 3 and 4, we're going to have cargo holds, which increase the percent income we're going to make. You can see that in my benefit here as I hover over it. Those plus 25% will be critical. And then finally, we can also unlock warehouses. And I like to build warehouses because this increases our trade capacity overall, adding extra points to be able to trade. And finally here, we can get immense cargo holds, which brings that plus 25 to plus 50%. So this is how you're going to want to manage your TEC economy, is through trade. But there's also some other great benefits where you can dominate your opponents using this method. And that's right down here where in Tier 2, we can unlock light trade escorts, which will provide us guard escorts for our trade ships. When we get to Tier 3, we can then add in additional Harka escorts. Your factories, when idle, will produce Garda and Harka escorts that don't impact your supply cap. So this is very critical. And they're going to fly around with your trading vessels and engage enemies as they see fit. So let's take a look at how this works here. So I'm going to come out here and zoom in here. You can see here I have some Garda flak vessels, some Harka heavy cruisers, and I have my little trade ship they're escorting. So we're going to do this at maybe 2 times speed. Come in here and let's take a look at what happens. Now we can see what's happening because we have to unlock the sensors. And you can see here they are going to engage in combat. So our trade ship's being hit, but then you can see that they're fighting Now, engaging enemies. Now, in this scenario, we're going to get eaten alive. But one of the nice things is that these ships are going to distract your enemies, you know, from maybe engaging you. And they're also going to provide you some intel on when they might be amassing to attack you. So this is fantastic ability, offensive ability through trade. So not only do you supercharge your economy, you gain map intel, and you can deploy more than your pop cap or supply cap in units. One other critical thing to mention is that you cannot research light trade escorts or heavy trade escorts until you have researched the Garda ship and respectively the where is it over here? Harka heavy cruiser. So effectively, you're not going to be able to unlock these until you can actually produce those ships, so keep that in mind. And that is how you can gain trade supremacy playing as TEC. Please comment on anything I missed. I wanted to post this video. My other one was more kind of the basics of trading. But through comments that I've read, thank you for posting comments, I learned some other abilities on just why this is so great. If you found this video helpful, please drop a thumbs up and hope to see you in future videos. Shadow Coast out.